notes on cell energy. In part 2, we're going to cover photosynthesis, and we're doing section A of part 2, which is just the basics, just a general overview of photosynthesis. In section B, we'll get into a little bit more detail on it. So the first thing is, what do you already know about photosynthesis? I have a feeling most of you know the equation for photosynthesis already. You may not realize it, but you know it. Let's see. What I'd like you guys to do is, when I'm done talking here in just a second, pause the video and make this T-chart somewhere in your notebook, okay? Plants on one side, animals on the other, 2 things the plants take in, 2 things they give off, and something they use. Okay, same thing on the other side, we're just kind of flipping it upside down. So take a minute and write that in. All right, so you got that all written down. Now I want you to see if you can fill it out. Take a minute and just kind of think through and see if you can fill it out. And it's okay if you can't, you can fill it out along with us, but we'll give you a minute to do that if you want to pause it. All right, let's see how you did. And if you're getting stuck, that's fine. We'll see if these other 2 science teachers can do better. I don't have high hopes. So, Mr. Kemeter, Miss Ripley, what do you need to give plants if you want them to stay alive?
Well, I know you don't have a lot of faith in me, and I don't know why. I don't think I've demonstrated any sort of shortcomings in any of the videos that we've recorded here, but I have killed enough houseplants to know one thing that plants need in order to keep on living, and that is water.
You are correct. If you don't give them water, they die. So plants take in water. Miss Ripley, do you got something else that they take in?
Well, they also need love, affection, a nurturing home for them to grow properly. But I think they also take in carbon dioxide.
Yeah, we've all known that probably since 2nd grade that plants take in carbon dioxide, right? They breathe carbon dioxide. A bit different than us, but they breathe in carbon dioxide. And what else do they need? What do they use?
Again, I've killed many a houseplant because I don't nurture and love them, but also because of not watering them, or they don't get enough sunshine in my house.
Exactly. They need light. It's a form of energy, right? They're getting their energy from the light that's hitting them, generally sunlight, but you can provide that radiant energy in other types of light as well. And so plants take in that water and that carbon dioxide, and then you use that light energy. And what do they make or produce from that?
Well, the great benefit to humans is that they make lots and lots of oxygen. Everybody knows that.
Good for our environment. One more thing, Kemeter. Can you get it?
Yes. This is also great for humans, Ripley, I'll have you know, and that is glucose. Yummy, yummy glucose for us.
Yeah, so they take in water and carbon dioxide, use the energy from light to make glucose, food for themselves, which we can also steal from them when we kill them and eat them because we're plant murderers. And then they also produce oxygen.
Vegans and vegetarians out there thought you were pretty darn nice, but no.
No, we murder them and steal the food they spend all that time making. And then they give off oxygen. It's actually a byproduct. It's a waste product for them. Now, it gets interesting when we take a look at what we do. What do we take in and give off? What's something that we need to take in, you guys, if we want to survive?
Well, as we just discussed, we're plant murderers, so we're definitely going to take in some of the delicious, food from plants. So probably some glucose.
Yeah, glucose and other, food molecules. Glucose is the main one we like, so we need that. How about Kemeter? What's another thing we take in?
Well, sometimes I forget things, and if I just take a deep breath, it helps me remember that I'm breathing and I need oxygen.
That is correct. This is interesting. Now, the next one, making and changing, I'm going to do this one because are you guys seeing a pattern here? Like plants give off glucose, we take in glucose. Plants give off oxygen, we take in oxygen, right? So if we follow that pattern, plants use light, we give off light.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah. I have a radiant, sunny personality, so obviously.
Yeah. But we do charge up some energy molecules. So it may not be light energy, but we're taking that energy stored in the chemical bonds of glucose. Try it again. take the energy in the chemical bonds and glucose, break it down, and use that to turn into a type of energy that our cells can use, ATP energy. And so that's how we're powering all this movement and picking on each other that we're doing right now. So can either of you guys tell me what we give off after we get the energy out of that glucose?
So this one is often tricky for students. We give off some water.
And what else?
I think, yeah, Kevin missed the whole pattern thing that we're,
Yeah.
matching up there. So we're breathing out some CO2.
I'm sorry.
Kevin has breathed too much CO2 in, apparently, and his brain isn't working.
Yep. So we can see here is, I mean, this is the whole unit right here, guys. In a nutshell, it's, what goes into photosynthesis? It's what plants take in, right? You've known this since you're little. You need to give them water. They breathe carbon dioxide. They need light. They make us oxygen and the food we eat in the form of glucose and other sugar molecules. What do we need to live? That glucose and the oxygen the plants gave off. We use that to get our energy, and then we breathe off carbon dioxide and water. Believe it or not, we actually make water when we digest our food and get energy out of food. Only about 10% of what we need. That's why we got to drink more water, but we do make some water. That's probably the one people didn't know. But you can see, so what we make, plants use. What plants make, we use. And so we just get this big old cycle of these molecules and atoms in nature going from one to the other. It's beautiful. And then it's all powered by light from the sun coming in and flowing through the middle of it all. So that's the unit, guys. That's everything. If you remember this chart, you've got the core to everything else we were going to teach you in just a little bit.
Everything else is just details.
You got it. So let's go into some of those details.
By the way, Ripley, the joke's on you. I don't have a brain. Okay.
Oh, that explains a lot.
All right, Scarecrow. So this is a quote I love. I thought I was pretty cool until I realized that plants can eat the sun and poop out air, because they do. They get their energy by taking in sunlight. And what do they give off? The oxygen that we need to breathe. So it's kind of a fun little saying if you want to remember it. And there's a video there, a Bill Nye clip. If you want to watch that, it's in the Google Slides notes, but we're going to skip it for now.
All right. So we talked about in a previous video the different forms of energy, some of the different forms of energy that are out there. We mentioned that radiant energy, sunlight, has energy in it. So that in the the chart that we went through, we noted that plants are using that radiant energy as part of the process for making food through photosynthesis. And so the energy conversion that's happening during photosynthesis is one that goes from radiant energy in the form of sunlight into chemical bond energy in the form of glucose, the food that plants are making. So that's a really, really important fundamental biological energy conversion that sets up most of the ecosystems that we got here on Earth. So conversion of energy from light to chemical bond energy in the form of glucose molecules, the food that plants make. And just to review some terminology from a previous unit, organisms that are capable of doing this, such as plants, we call autotrophs. Now, autotrophs, or I should say plants, aren't the only autotrophs. They aren't the only ones converting either radiant energy into chemical energy or some other forms of energy. But it's the primary one that we're going to be taking a look at in this course here. So autotrophs automatically make their food. And we also mentioned this in our last unit, and that is the organelle in which this process takes place, and that is the chloroplast. Not all plant cells have chloroplasts, but the plant cells responsible for food production have chloroplasts, and they capture energy from the sun, produce food, glucose. So those inputs, what is required for photosynthesis to take place? We just discussed them. Let's pause and see if you can remember them, because that's primarily what we're asking you to do in this unit. Okay, were you able to think of the 3 things that plants need inputs? Did I not pause long enough? What was, oh my God.
You guys are a funny guy, Kevin.
I know I'm funny. Do you want to know how I know I'm funny, Ripley? every time I go outside, people point and laugh at me. Of course I'm funny. I got to be like the funniest guy around. Gosh, you guys are hurting my feeling. So what are the three things that plants need? Otherwise they don't live well in your house. Number one, you got to water them. Number two, you got to give them some sunlight. And number three, they need some of that carbon dioxide. I don't remember what order. You know what? I'm almost done with this. Ripley.
Let's see if Miss Ripley can do any better on the.
I got a 50-50 shot, so. All right, so we just discussed the three things that need to go kind of into photosynthesis. Let's see if you can remember the two things that are the output, the products of photosynthesis. Here we go.
So you're the cheater. Oh my goodness.
If you put glucose and oxygen, you have won a brand new car. Just kidding. Hopefully
Yeah,
you know those.
Ripley Mini Cooper.
Yeah, you can have that. No, you can probably have Mr. Kemner's car. It's not
It's a
brand
Ford
new.
Focus.
It's
You don't
not
want
nice. He's probably willing to give it away. Okay, so putting it all together, if we take all of the stuff that you guys basically just told us, because you already know this, what is our balanced equation for photosynthesis? So we take all those things, we put them together. So you start with carbon dioxide and water, and with a little bit of help from the sun, we're able to transform those into glucose and oxygen. And as we learned in Science 9, you need to balance your equations because we have the conservation of mass. Basically, we need the same amount of stuff on the beginning side, our reactants, as we do on the right side there, our products. So our balanced equation, we add a couple of sixes in front here. And this is our nicely balanced equation for photosynthesis that you already knew. You just didn't know that you knew.
Interesting thing here, seeing as how we just had Halloween, at least in this universe when we're filming this. What are the three numbers that you use to balance the equation?
6, 6, 6. Spooky.
You guys are
The equation necessary for all life on this planet is balanced with 666. 6 carbon dioxide and 6 water with a little bit of energy from the sun and the chloroplast. You'll make life-giving glucose and 6 oxygens. Pretty sweet.
Here's your consider this question though. How does this happen? Will the world ever know? Will Chemeter ever be funny?
one of life's unanswered questions.